Welcome to Blondes and Booze. You are about to embark on a journey, one that often leads to more questions than answers. But fear not, your host, Krista, Aaron, and Brandi have the experience, the perseverance, and yes, even the gifts to pull back the veil and allow us to glimpse the other side. They will share not only their experiences, but will introduce you to world-renowned researchers and experiencers to help you find answers in the murky waters of what we call the paranormal. Their bonds with each other reach far beyond friendship, resulting in a pull no punches approach to the many subjects they explore. Their goal? To open eyes, hearts, and even minds to what lies on the other side, and the answers residing there.
Hey everybody, welcome to Blondes and Booze.
Hey there.
It's been quite a day, quite a night, and yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's been such a lazy day for me. I'm like, whew, a weekend off? I'm going to lay around for a while.
I know, right? I have nothing to do all weekend. Seriously, like nothing to do all weekend. I'm going to enjoy it.
Right?
Not working, nowhere to go.
I know. It's just kind of like it feels nice, but then it doesn't. It feels like we should be somewhere doing something.
I know, because it's like, oh, that's all we've been doing is going, you know?
Right.
I mean, like, my car don't know what to do. It's just sitting there. Down the road.
Like, hey, lady, I got gas in here, and we're not going anywhere.
Exactly. I don't know.
Oh,
we did have a good weekend last week, though. It was a lot of fun, and you know, I look forward to a future event over there.
Right. Well, again tonight, unfortunately, we had Heather Mosier from Small Town Monsters booked to come on with us tonight, and she has been sick all day. She said she woke up about 2:30, 3 o'clock with a fever and has been feeling miserable. I told her, I said, check for the C word and, you know, just to rest, you know. So prayers going up to her that she has a fast recovery and all that good stuff. And we're going to be rescheduling Seth and Heather both later on, you know, when we can get them in this year.
We do have Seth rescheduled for October 12th.
Okay, so we do have him rescheduled for October 12th. Well, Heather, we're going to fit her in there somewhere. We're going to get her in.
Yep. You know, Robbie just made a point here, and that's something we can talk about. He says we have December coming up, and we do. And we are doing an event with Robbie Raines, and his channel is What's Really Out There, DA Ex Machina with DA Roberts, and Miss Naomi Finn, Open to Doubt. We're all doing an event that I think you guys will like, but you will have to subscribe to all the channels. And throughout the evening, throughout the show, I will drop everybody's link several times in the chat. So make sure that you are subscribed and hit the bell icons for each of those channels, because you're going to have to watch all of them to get to the main event.
But, you know, once we get into November, we'll remind you and we'll start giving you more hints on what we're doing. So you'll have to wait till then.
Yeah.
But we do have other projects in the works. But Robbie, December is a long way away from me.
Not really, because this is September. We only have October and November. It's the beginning of December when we're doing it. So he's got a point.
Yeah, but for me, that's a long time. I'm like a little kid. I have no patience. I want to go now.
I'm the same way. I just, I'm going to enjoy this next little bit of time off and, you know, just chilling.
Yeah, you know, because our plans are already starting in for next year. And like we had talked about before, that we're going to back off on conferences here and concentrate more on content and bringing it to you instead. So we do have that in store.
Yeah, I think we're only going to do next year as of now. Brandi and I had talked about it. We do have a deal we're doing with the Kling Brothers in January, and that will be in Texas. Can't even tell you what town it is, but it's a more on the paranormal realm. And then we're going to do the Alabama Bigfoot Conference next year in June. And then what we just attended this past weekend, the Ozark Bigfoot Conference. We're going to be doing that again. So the rest of the time, we plan on literally just going to different haunted locations and different places where there's, Bigfoot, do some LBL, of course. We always go there. So that's our plans. That's what we're going to do. And then we do have things in the works too. And we'll talk more about that next week when we have Robbie and Greg on, but, and that'll be something at the LBL too. So anyway, we do have stuff planned next year, just not a lot of conferences.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I'm going to let a little bit out of the bag right now because I was told I could let a little bit out of the bag. This past weekend was very exciting. Krista and I had quite the experience. I don't even know how to say it without saying it.
Here's the only thing that you can say. You can say is Bigfoot is real.
And Bigfoot is real. Absolutely. Yep. So I can say that. And we're getting things lined up. We're probably going to have a special show because we're already booked up. Probably going to have a special show to tell you all about it. And we're going to tell you what really happened in Douglas County. So that is going to be a show you don't want to miss. So we'll let you all know when that's coming up. Because for me, it was definitely something else. That's all I can say. So that's all I can say about it.
It was pretty much life-changing for you, I think.
Yeah, it was. So with that being said, anyway.
Yeah. You know what we forgot to do? We forgot to remind everybody what to watch this week.
Oh, well, it's just me and you. We can go over that anytime. We don't have a guest to bring on. So it's kind of like, well, we can just say it anytime. But anyway, on Mondays at 8 p.m. Central, it's Texas Porch, of course. And that's with me and Tex. And I'm the hostess with the mostest. I don't care what he says. On Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, it's Bob Van Buren with Van Buren Variety. At 8 o'clock on Tuesday evening, it is Bigfoot Michigan Rob with Beyond BMR. At Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central, it's Jason McLean Questions Everything. So make sure you tune into him. He's been talking about some great stuff, so don't miss out. Don't miss out on Donnie Cho. If you're Donnie Cho fans, he has his own channel. It's Donnie Cho Says Stuff. So make sure you check him out. On Thursdays at 12 p.m. Central, we have, of course, Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob and Krista. Do you know who you have coming on this next week, or you don't know yet?
I don't know. Unfortunately, I had to miss brunch yesterday. I had some family stuff I had to do, but I don't.
Well, you know what? It's always a good show no matter what, even if it's just you and him. So, no, for me, I'll watch it anyway. I don't care because it's always good. Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Central, of course, it's us, Blondes and Booze. And if you want a little more, you can check us out on Fridays at 8 p.m. Central, which is tonight. It's Blondes, Booze, and the Woo. On Saturday, you can also go and watch the newest episode of Infamous Minds and see what serial killer or they're talking about this week, because they've been coming up with some great stuff. So I'm excited to hear about it because, like I've told everybody before, Krista and I, we have this thing about serial killers. We have to listen to like the ID channel or some kind of 48 hours or something to go to sleep. So.
True story. We've stayed in many hotel rooms together, and guess what goes on the TV when we go to bed?
Yep.
Serial killers.
Yeah, not paranormal shows, not Bigfoot shows, not any type of cryptid. Serial killers. I don't.
And we sleep real good. We just go right to sleep.
I don't know. And have you ever figured out that watching those shows that the narrators that are talking about the killings and all that, their voices are always so calming. What is up with that?
I know, right?
It's like they're so calm when they're talking about it. I get excited. I'm like, oh, can you believe that happened? And and they're just so calm talking about it. I'm like, that takes talent. I
Right.
don't have that talent. I
don't
get
have that
excited
voice
talking
either.
about it.
I don't have that
Woo!
voice either. Not at all. If anybody wants to talk about anything in particular, just put it in all caps and we can talk about it. We'll go down whatever rabbit hole y'all want to go down. We're all about it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when we're left without a guest, this happens. We all know that life happens, and but we appreciate everybody.
Scott says that's kind of correct. He says, if I ever come up dead or murdered, it was my wife. She watches that shit 24/7.
24/8. Added a new day.
Right. Yeah, that's
that day between Sunday and Monday. That's that day.
That day. Yeah. Yeah. We I don't know. We do have Brandi has a ghost event she's doing this year.
Yes. Oh, yes, it's in the works. Oh my goodness. Because we've had such good reviews and such participation when we're doing these. I'm doing another one. I'm going to be going to Ohio State Reformatory in November. I'm going to be there on a Sunday, so we're going to have a special show on that Sunday. If we can get all the details lined out now, there's many people in this wheel, so. If we get it all figured out, we're going to be going on and we're going to do another special investigation. And this place is one of my bucket lists. So if you're going to see me jump ever, it's going to be this place. So you might want to watch that one for sure.
Yeah. So we will go live from there and all that good stuff. So we'll keep you all updated. It's going to be like on a Sunday night though, I believe, because when you're going to be there. So anyway, little Patty asked, where do you ladies get your crystals? I have none. So
you know what? Email us at blondesandbooze.com and I'll email you back and I'll give you some reputable dealers because if you're not careful, they're going to sell you something bad or glass and you don't want that. So I'll give you the names of reputable people. They have online shows so you can actually get in there and talk with them as they're showing it and buy from them. So that's what I do a lot.
Yeah. I actually I've got a metaphysics shop about 20 minutes away from me. So I go down there or actually our friend Jessica Potter, the mermaid medium, she sells a lot of them. I've gotten a lot from her too. So she's been very sick with POTS, but she is now coming around to being able to deal with it. And she's starting to have shows now. She has a lot of good stuff too. So like I said, email me and then I'll email you back all the information that I have of the dealers that I use. That way you get the good stuff. Yep. So Roger Blair asked, have you ever talked about or had a show about the AI deal that's going on? We actually haven't. We can
we haven't. And honestly, that scares me. That scares me a lot because I think that AI is going to take the human out of humanity. And if we don't watch what we're doing, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Agreed.
So
also, just like even people putting up evidence, I don't care if it's Bigfoot or dogmen or ghosts, with AI there, nothing's going to be credible anymore.
No, nothing. So I mean, that's a show that I would really have to research the subject and get into because I really don't know enough because it scares me. I don't want to find out. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's kind of like, oh my goodness. Yeah, just another thing that we have to worry about.
Legit, I mean, it really does. A lot of it looks legit and, I don't know. I don't think it's such a good thing at all.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Brandi Robbie says, Brandi, what's the jail in Florida that is really haunted and no inmates lived past 2 years?
Oh, Lord.
Let me Google. Hold on.
I've been trying to think. Oh my goodness.
I'm Googling.
I want to say I heard that story, and it was probably last year sometime, and I cannot.
I'm not having any good luck here.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah,
because I ran across that story on accident.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I'd never heard of that, but that's interesting. There is a place. I think it's in Florida, and they have like a lot of haunted items, and I can't think of what it's called, but there is and in there they have these statues, and people who have like infertility problems and things like that go and they touch these statues, and then they are able to like get pregnant and stuff. I think that's kind of cool. So that's a good attachment there to go see if somebody who has infertility issues and all that good stuff. So yeah, just interesting. Just hit me when talking about that. So
well, Robbie, if you can remember, send us the link of the story that you watched and see, because I would like to read into that and see what I can find, because that is kind of interesting.
That would be interesting. Little Patty says, "Have a Terminator situation on our hand."
What is that movie that Will Smith was in?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Could it be St. Augustine Jail? Glenn asked.
I have no idea.
Yeah, Robbie says we need to look into it for sure. I watched a good video on it. There's a spirit in there called the Reaper. You know what? That would be something cool to talk about next week when we have Robbie on our show. And,
sure.
Maybe we can do a little bit of research on
iRobot. Thank you, Sherry.
That's it. Yeah.
iRobot. Yeah, because that's what I can imagine with all this AI technology is that they're going to start learning themselves without our help. We're not going to be able to program them. They're going to actually have enough to start educating themselves, and that's what's going to go crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know, that AI stuff. That's just weird, man.
I don't know. When Elon Musk says it's a bad idea,
it's probably a bad idea.
And that man's crazy. It's a bad idea.
Yeah, true. I saw a friend of ours had a video that somebody had sent them, and I watched it, and Brandi knows what video I'm talking about. And I believe that video is AI, but there's a lot of stuff that looks legit in that video,
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like that everything around the particular thing we're looking at is real. Everything looks real, but I have doubts on what we were actually looking at. So, but I don't know, who would have that type of money to create that, especially from its source. I don't know, but it came from somewhere, and it was definitely creepy.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It's just it's weird stuff out there, man. People come up with everything and anything nowadays, Yeah. Freaky Geek says it's a bad idea. Yeah, I'm sure he's working on something AI related. Musk, that is.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Oh sure. Yeah. He's not going to lose out. No.
Yeah. And Penny Van says, I listened to a man that was burned over 85% of his body, 3rd-degree burns, and survived. They had to replace most of his skin and had to create flesh. Wow. I know. Well, this has been, let me think how old my daughter is. She's 28. So I had her in the hospital. A friend of ours, my ex-husband and myself, his house blew up, literally. And he was burned like 90-something% of his body. We got a phone call to come and say our last goodbyes to him. And had they had that type of stuff back then, I mean, he survived, but he was all scarred up, and so had they had that back then, it could have been used for the good, was my point.
Yeah,
So
I know that they're trying to do away with skin grafts because basically what they're doing is they're tearing up one part of your body to make the other part of your body
right,
look okay. So I know
right.
that they're trying to do away with that and figure something else out.
Yeah,
Um, I've heard of them growing skin. Um,
yeah, yeah. I don't know.
but
It's interesting.
yeah,
It's interesting. It's interesting. Robbie said he sent us both that video, so that'd be cool.
yeah, I
So
saw it. I saw it. Thank you.
yeah, appreciate it. So I just dropped Robbie's link in the chat. So if you guys have not subscribed to him, please go do so. And then I'm gonna drop DA's link.
Eh,
And
Radio Vault said, but it's butt skin.
that's true.
Yes, it is.
True
It's
story.
butt skin. Yeah, yeah.
Well, Pancho Zorch says they're growing ears in petri dishes on the backs of mice. That's scary.
That is scary, but you know what? I did hear that. I heard something similar to that.
Mhm.
Now, what it exactly was, I don't remember, but yeah. I
Right.
mean, is the things that you do go down those rabbit holes when you start looking up documentaries or, news
Right.
articles. You run into a whole lot of stuff. You're like, wait, that's not even what I was looking for. But while
Right.
we're here,
Exactly.
let me just check it out.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. So I don't know. It's crazy stuff. It's crazy, scary stuff, I think. I think so. So Brandi, what do you want to talk about? Let's talk ghosts.
Sure. That's a subject we know about.
Haven't
We've
talked
seen
ghosts in a
one or
while.
two. We've
Yeah.
seen one or two.
Or 10.
Or more. I I want to talk about this particular story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know if I've talked about it before, but it was just something I was thinking about today. And it was myself and another lady and we're in a bathroom. Did I ever discuss this one before? But I was just thinking about it today and I don't know why. But we were in a bathroom and we were discussing, they had chairs in the bathroom and we were facing the sinks, which had mirrors.
Where was this?
This was in my small town. This was in my small town in the little theater here. But
Okay.
we have all the lights off, so we can't see anything. We can't see reflections in the mirror. We can't see anything. All I had was a little itty bitty red light, and that was on a REM pod, and that was on the floor. So it wasn't reflecting off the mirrors whatsoever. You couldn't even see it.
Mhm.
So we're just sitting there and we're talking, and we're hearing a little bit of noise, this, that, and the other. And next thing you know, a bright light kind of just popped real quick next to my foot.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? I said, I seen that. I said, did you see it? She said, no, I didn't see it. And I said, I'm just not really feeling good in here. She says, okay, well, let's go ahead and get out of here. I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So she flicks on the light. When she flicks on the light, standing between where she was sitting and the sink, there was this black mass just standing right in front of her. And as soon as she got a visual on it, she kind of screamed because it startled her.
Mm-hmm.
And, and she's like, starts yelling at it like, that's not nice to pop in and to startle somebody like that. And she's actually not turning her back to it, but she's pushing me out the door. And she's like, this is not a good thing. You shouldn't be doing that to people. The reason why we were sitting in there, because they had like reports of let's just call it a peeper. It's a peeper,
Mm-hmm.
That this gentleman was hanging out in the bathroom. And,
Right.
we had our theories on it that it could have been the janitor or, whatever, that is just still to this very day, even after he's deceased, is cleaning the bathrooms or whatever. But, that was a time that I seen somebody really just lose it. They
Right.
lost their mental bearings right there. And I wasn't, for me, it's like I looked up and I just saw it just kind of disappear just faintly. I mean, I guess I caught the tail end of it because it was just a split second. And, I guess that just stuck with me. That just stuck with me, that they were just standing there and staring at you, and you couldn't see them, but they could see you. So it
Yeah.
was just something that just really stuck with me. I don't know why. It's something I was thinking about
You
today.
know what? Like, okay, so the Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri, there's a ghost in the women's bathroom in there. And when we were in Alabama, there was a ghost in the bathroom there. What the heck is up with ghosts in bathrooms?
I have my thoughts, but really I can't say it on here. All I can say is peeper. We got peepers. I mean, could it have been someone that was just kind of one of those bad people in life, and they're still that kind of way in death? Or, because when you catch people in the bathrooms, I mean, that's one of the most vulnerable times you're going to catch them. It's in the bathroom.
Maybe. I'm reading chat, and they're talking about the hoo-hoos. Maybe they were members of the hoo-hoo.
The snarkiest hoo-hoo in town.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know what it is with ghosts in bathrooms. Little Patty asked Brandi, did you say you were going live at OSR?
Yes. If we can get it all together, like I said, we are going with the group. Now, I was invited by the Paranormal Voice, which is out of Canada. They are going to be down, and we're going with their group, and we're going to set it up so we can do some investigating live. So that is going to be fantastic. Like I said, this is a place that's on my bucket list. It's a place I've always wanted to go. And it's one of those places where it's a high dollar visit. That's all I can say about that. So finally I get to go, and I'm excited about it. So this is going to be good. I'm really.
And Miss Naoma, it was a blast last night on the show. So don't even say that. You are coming back in October, and you're welcome on our show anytime.
And we will talk about the hoo-hoos again if you're not careful.
Yeah.
We'll make our own secret society. If you didn't catch the show last night, oh my gosh, go back and rewatch that. I swear for like 20 minutes, we were all laughing hysterically.
Well, today it was kind of funny. I was talking to my oldest daughter. She's not a young kid. She's 28. And I was telling her, about the show. And I was like, yeah, we were talking about hoo-haws. And she's like, you were talking about hoo-haws? I was like, no, not hoo-haws. It was, yeah.
Hoo-hoos.
Yeah, hoo-hoos. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, so I mean, if you haven't, I mean, tonight we're a little bit more, I guess, relaxed and chill. Just talking about stuff. We've had a lot on our mind, honestly, to tell you the truth. There's been a lot going on in the last week. We've done interviews and chats and all kinds of stuff. So we are kind of preoccupied, and we don't mean to be, honestly. We just don't mean to be. It's just what's happening. But it's all coming down to it's all working itself out. It's all get there, and we're so excited about stuff, and right now we just can't talk about it, and that's it.
Freaky Gate. Miss Naoma does have her own channel, and
she does.
I've been promoting for everybody to go and subscribe to, and I've dropped her link again just now in chat. So anyway.
Oh, Pancho said he had snot bubbles and all. He laughed so hard.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm trying to read the.
Yeah, she's fantastic at history and storytelling, and she can tell a story.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, and she does have content. Yes, absolutely. Yep, she
does. Yeah, I've binge listened to Naoma, and I do the same thing with Cam, and then Cam Buckner.
Yeah.
I like
right a now. Lot of her stories. Yeah, a lot of her stories are on Cam's site, Cryptid. Cam Buckner. So go there, Dixie Cryptid. Listen to his great stories, and her stories are on there. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Yep, sure are. And then, like I said, we've been promoting DA. He's got great shows. He's on Wednesday nights and Saturday nights. So he gets, really good guests and stuff too. And and they talk some deep stuff sometimes too, and that always
Right.
interests me.
Well, yeah,
So
I mean, because they really talk about not just Bigfoot and Dogman. I mean, they get deep into other cryptids and things like that. Things that we normally just don't talk about.
yeah, I think tomorrow night their show is about like animals who've been extinct, but maybe they're not. So I mean, that's
right.
interesting to me. So anyway, go and subscribe to DA, and also Robbie in the chat. What's really out there? He puts out good content too. His is a topic, and so if you just have a quick jaunt to work or something, a 30, 45 minute, perfect. You can listen to Robbie and them talk about, different topics. So yeah, they all have good channels. If they didn't, we wouldn't be promoting them.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. Right. For sure. So,
they're going to be talking about extinct animals.
mm-hmm.
I saw a meme the other day, and it said something about somebody's government had said that they could recreate or dinosaurs within the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
That they could. And on the bottom of it, it says, well, there's about 4 movies out that say that you shouldn't. Did you not learn anything? And I got to thinking, I'm like, well, yeah. Look at how many, because I just watched today, because I saw that the Meg 2, if anybody, I don't know. I was just looking for something to just, I don't know, just dull my brain so I would stop thinking so much. Just something to grab my attention to just not think about everything. So I thought, okay, the Meg 2 is out, but I haven't even seen the first one. The first one came out in like 2018, and it's about the megalodon and blah, blah, blah. And I watched that today, and I'm like, yeah, we shouldn't really try to bring dinosaurs back into the civilization at all. No.
Why do they think that's a good idea?
I don't know. Just like they think cloning is a great idea. That's a dumb idea.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get that either.
Not at all. Now I can see like perhaps cloning like plants or things like that to produce food or whatever like that, but living beings, no, I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think so.
It's just scary. It's scary stuff, man. Because I don't want to have a T-Rex looking through my window.
Right. It's like the new Godzilla, just trampling over you. I don't know. I got a ringing in my ears.
Yeah,
that's all I can imagine is just like the next Godzilla coming over, and you're like, and you're like, oh well, I'm dead. Right. Bye.
You want a little bit of useless Jurassic Park facts? Let me tell you. So all of the dinosaur sounds, like the ones when they're kind of just making little sounds. I'm not talking the T-Rex, but they are made. They got those sounds from alpacas. True story. Yeah. So at the time, I was raising alpacas. We had a bunch of alpacas, and that was a little bit of useless information that I learned when I had the alpacas, and to sit out there and listen to them. Absolutely, you hear the same sounds you hear on the.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
those were noises in Jurassic Park. Oh my God! Now I'm gonna have to watch that movie again and then Google the noises. Oh, well, yeah. I think Penny said it. It's mindless entertainment. It works,
Seriously, I mean, it's crazy. Yep.
Yeah, it's something that I didn't know. That is so weird.
Yeah. Little Patty says there's a reason dinosaurs are extinct. Some things shouldn't be messed with. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yes, little Patty. Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking the same thing that, didn't Jurassic Park teach us anything at all?
Guess not.
Now we have the Meg. I mean,
yeah.
It's like if they're still existing, if these megalodons are still out there existing, I don't want to go in the water.
Neither.
At all.
Nope.
I'll pass.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, that's a true story. And then Naoma says, and those other noises were the sounds people make when the alpacas spit on them. I will tell you, out of all of the alpacas that I had, and I had at one time 27 of them. So you would feed them. I only had one that would spit at you. And that was only, she wasn't aiming it towards you. She was aiming it towards one of the other alpacas, like over food.
Oh, like one. Get away.
Yeah.
Get away. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, kind of interesting. Yeah. And then I have a stepson now who he raises camels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he does. Crazy stuff, isn't it? But
they spit a lot too, though.
Well, camels, alpacas, and llamas are all in the same family.
The spitter family.
The spitter family. Yep. The spitter family. Remember, we're before the 52-minute mark now, right now.
Yeah, we're trying to be nice here before we start talking about things.
We just have to
and talk. Just I don't know. I seen a woman that had I think emus. And she does a lot of TikToks on emus. And there's this one, I don't know what she named it, Steve or something, but it's always coming up like it's going to peck her or something. And all she does is stick her hand out and stop it. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't own animals like that. If they spit on me, if they tried to hurt me, no, we're having dinner is what we're having.
Yep. Old Spirit says, are you allowed to put up your PayPal link? Looking on your channel, don't see. I don't know if you're watching on your phone, there should be, if you'd like to donate, we appreciate everything for sure, but there should be the donate button. If not, I believe our PayPal is in the description of this show.
If not, here, let me just go up here. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Smart.
I have to use my finger and push buttons. So if you saw my hand, I'm very sorry. But yeah, there you go. Everything is there. Super chat, super sticker, or the stickers. Those are the easiest way. But we do have our Venmo, so you can absolutely donate there.
Yep. Maggie says that's the useless farm. She calls her Karen, and the boy's name is Stanley. That is, I know who you guys are talking about. Yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Pancho. We appreciate that.
Thank you for the hoo lovers and all of us.
That's funny. And I wanted to put this one up too. That came in before the show. Thank you, BMR.
Thank you, Rob. That is forever. We should have just named that the Hoo Show.
Right. Yeah, that was definitely interesting. That's a show I won't forget. Yeah.
Oh, don't. I'm going to start laughing all over again. Stop.
I know.
We can't start this stuff just yet.
No?
Can't start that just yet.
Yeah, we have to wait after the 52-minute mark, guys.
Right?
The radio stations will really frown upon us.
Right.
Yeah. So.
But anyway, so a lot of our friends and everything are going to the Wild Man Conference there in Tennessee. That is October 14th. Is it the 14th?
I think so.
I think it's right around there. Whatever that Saturday and Sunday is, it's that weekend, and a lot of people are going. As of right now, Krista and I will not be attending. Like I said, we're taking a break from conferences and thing. We had a really tough year traveling and things like that, and as we all know, that all takes money. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we're coming to slow time at my job. So, they have cut our hours, and they've cut Krista's hours at her job. So we're just kind of like, let's just take some time off. And plus, I want to go to Ohio. So I got to save my money for that.
Right.
So
absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Go. I mean, I would love to go, but I've had a lot of personal things going on in the last few weeks. So that I, really don't want to discuss. But so I just need to spend more time at home with my kids. So
Right.
that was
And then,
a big.
but in January, Krista and I are heading back to Texas to Shirts.
Is that the town?
Yeah, SCHERTZ, I believe is the spelling of it. Shirts, Texas.
Yeah.
And we're going to be a vendor at that.
It's the Lone
Paracon.
Star Paracon.
Yeah.
What it is. And that is with Brandi Kling.
Yep.
So that'll
we
be
don't
good.
have an updated flyer, I don't think.
No, I do know. I do know that they have. It's mainly paranormal, but Lyle Blackburn is a good friend of theirs, and Lyle is going to be there. And I did hear that Jason Hawes.
Jason Hawes is going to be there.
Yep, he's one that's going to be there. So they've got several lined up. I just don't remember all of them.
Right. And Texas from Porch. There he just chimed in. Yeah. He's going to be there too. So
that's
Texas
awesome.
is going to be there. Yep.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. So that's going to be really our next travel one.
January 24th. I think. I'm trying to remember all these dates off the top of my head, but I think it's the 24th of January.
I can tell you here real quick. January 27th.
27th. Okay. I don't know how our travel plans are going to go because that is an awfully long haul for me and Krista. We just hope it doesn't snow or ice or anything. So
it won't be Texas. Not that far south.
Texas, it will ice, it will snow, it will do all kinds of things we got to get through to get there. That place is worse than Missouri. It doesn't know what it wants to do half the time.
Right. I hear you. Let's see. He asked if we're all coming down for the fish fry. I probably won't be able to make it, honestly, with everything going on here.
But I will. I'll come.
Yeah. My next thing literally my next thing that I am doing is in December with you and DA's crew and Miss Naoma. Mm-hmm. That'll be my next.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go to the fish fry. We do have to set a date for that soon. Tex, if you hear me, set a date for that soon so we can get everything else scheduled around it. I will be there. That's not so bad. That's only 8.5 hours for me. So that's a doable drive for me, even though I don't particularly care to go that long. But I'll just get an extra long audiobook and go and go. But that will give me a chance, because I really want to get back up there to the cemetery in Brown Springs. That's where I had my first visual of what I believe to be Bigfoot. It was at a distance. So, I would really like to get back there and see what I can find out there without it being 110 degrees.
Right?
Yeah.
No, it'd be fun. It'd be good. Unfortunately, I'll have to miss it. Like I said, I'm doing our December thing, and I'm looking forward to that. So.
Right. But anybody that comes out to the fish fry, let me say that 10 times fast. Because then we're going to do the tour. We're going to go check out these places that you've seen on our show that Texas talked about, where his exact vehicle was when he got the prints. We'll take a walk down to the river. We'll do all that stuff while we're there. So you can see exactly, where we're at when we're down there.
Right. Absolutely. No, that'd be cool. You know what we can talk about when we come back that we both kind of know some stuff about? Let's talk about from break. We won't start it now. We'll do it when we come back from break. Let's talk about the Sally house.
Okay.
We can do that.
That's a strange story all in itself, but that does take a few minutes. And it was a big story.
And I could put pictures up too. I'll do that on the break of it,
right?
So you can see a visual of it. But
that was a big story. These people were on national news. There's a book about it now. There's all kinds of things. So we will definitely discuss that because that's bad juju right there.
That is a scary encounter. But like I said, when we're on break, I'll throw some pictures up and you guys can kind of get a visual of the house and exactly who Sally is. So we'll do that. Yeah, it's scary stuff. But we won't give it away yet because there's not enough time to talk about it. Start talking about it now before the break. So
Little Patty says, don't stay in the Red Roof Inn in Mansfield. It's nasty.
Noted. Thank you, little Patty.
Noted. Normally, if it has red roof, it's usually a no. Anyway.
Or if it's a Motel 6, that's a no.
Yeah. Holly Perrine is going to come with me on this little jaunt. She has become my little haunted hunting partner. And Krista is usually running the show because if she leaves it to me, nothing will work. So Krista usually does the good deed and stays and takes care of all that stuff and lets me go out there and run around like an idiot. But Holly's going to be with me. We're going to take a couple extra days to go up there early, just check it out, get rested up because it is going to be a long night. So
yeah,
we're definitely going to have a good time while we're out there. Absolutely.
Sounds good. And for those of you that have ordered BMR's new book, if you could go on Amazon and give him a review, I know he would greatly appreciate it because it helps with the algorithms and all that good stuff. So
anyway. Yeah, just go out there and say you love it, love it, love it.
Yep. If you haven't got it, get it because it's a good book. I read it.
It is. It is.
Yeah, I'm already running out of material to read, and I've got so many books.
Well, if you need some, I probably have 40 or 50. I've not even started yet.
Yeah, I just running out of stuff to read.
Right.
I've read all my friends' books already.
Yeah, I know. It's like you get to the point where you're just like, do you change subjects?
Right.
Thank you, Maggie.
Appreciate that.
You get on a subject, and me with mine, you get started on paranormal, and then you read so many paranormal stories, you're just like, I've got to change subjects. So that starts a whole new thing. And then I get to where I'm reading 2 and 3 books at a time, and then I'm like, wait, I've lost myself. I don't even know what story I'm in.
Right.
And then I hate waiting for books like a sequel. Oh my goodness, because then I start reading the sequel, and I'm like, I forgot all what happened in the first book because this is not making any sense to me. So I have to go back to the first book, kind of skim it, and then go, oh, okay. Hate that.
Yep, for sure.
But that's why I'm glad that we like so many different subjects because that way I can switch. Like let's just throw my grandmother, bless her heart. She's passed away now, but she was stuck, in love stories. That was her thing. She was stuck in love stories, and I'm like,
there's nothing wrong with that.
There is not, but I have a short attention span. So it's kind of like, if I keep reading the same material over and over, I'm like, oh, I can't do it.
You know what? Here's the thing too. Like, I'm not one that's into chick flicks at all.
Well, look at me. I watched The Meg today. It's not a chick flick.
Yeah, I'm not into any of that. I don't know.
No, I'm not your Hallmark Channel girl.
Nope, we're not. That's why we get along. Seriously, that's why we get along. Because I mean, a lot of people, my kids in particular, they'll want to, watch something and be like, do we have to?
Right.
Hallmark Channel, I guess.
Right.
And I'll sit there on my phone through most of it.
Right. The real Polly T. Yes. He's going to write, talking about BMR writing a book about the Lions. I could see him doing a sports book. You know what? I could see him writing something somewhere.
That would be funny.
About an athletic star. Oh, yeah. I could see it.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're putting ideas out there, Rob.
Yep, absolutely. Roger Blair says, how about Old Yeller? That was a sad movie. Now that one made me cry. That's one thing I don't like. I don't like movies where animals or kids die. I can't watch those.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Old Yeller, and believe it or not, I cried in Cujo, and that is the truth. Yeah, so I can't do those. I don't like it where animals or kids get hurt. You know?
Mm-hmm. So, that was funny. I was reading something the other day. Now that you mentioned Cujo, I was reading something the other day where they were talking about how Cujo was actually mostly a man in a dog suit.
That's
that
interesting.
that there was a man in a dog suit doing most of that. They'd show the real dog sometimes, but most of the time it was a man in a dog suit.
That's interesting.
Because it didn't look like that to me.
Yeah. Yeah, you know that movie that everybody likes, that Marley and Me? No, I can't watch that. Nope. Marley dies. Nope.
Where the red fern grows. Oh my goodness, Tex.
Yeah. What is your favorite movie, Brandi? Real quick before we go to a break.
I don't really have a favorite movie. I don't. I think Avatar was my daughter's favorite, and I guess I just like it. Yeah, I think it was my favorite animated. Just the colors, the bright colors, and the storyline. It was just all a really good one. Now I don't like the second one as much as I did the first one.
Yeah, my favorite. I was going to say my favorite movie out of all time is, and I can watch. I've probably seen it 100 times, and that is Legends of the Fall. Love that movie.
That's a sad one too. All right. With that, we're going to go to break, and we'll see everybody in 5 minutes.
Yep. And when we come back, we will talk the Sally House, and that is it's pretty creepy.
It is creepy.
So stay tuned. We'll be back in 5, guys.
Four minutes to go, folks. 4 minutes. Three minutes. We're almost there. 2-minute warning, guys. 2-minute warning. One minute. 1 minute.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Appreciate everybody tuning back in. I am still working on getting some pictures put up. So anyway, Brandi, you want to remind everybody what to watch real quick? And I'll get this done real quick here.
I already did that, but I'll do it again.
Do it again. Do it again.
Do it again one more time. Yeah, because we have Mr. Donnie in the chat. Yay. On Mondays, of course, it's Texas Front Porch at 8 p.m. Central. On Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, it's Bob Van Buren with the Van Buren Variety. 8 p.m. on Tuesday, it is Bigfoot Michigan Rob with Beyond BMR. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central is Jason McLean Questions Everything. And don't forget, Donnie Cho's on there. Plus, he has his own channel, Donnie Cho Says Stuff. And believe me, everybody, he does. On Thursdays at 12 p.m. Central, we have Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob and Krista. Thursday nights, of course, it's us with Blondes and Booze. Fridays at 8 p.m. Central, it's Blondes, Booze, and the Woo. On Saturday, it's Tex and Danielle Diva with Infamous Minds. So make sure you check them all out, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And by the way, Tex does have a Facebook page that is up and running. It has Rob and myself, Brandi Gilbert, Krista, we're all managing that page also. So go ahead and over there and like and his Facebook page, and let's get him up in numbers so he can see that he needs to join Facebook and help us out.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, real quick, as we said earlier, everybody go and like and subscribe to What's Really Out There, DAX Machina and Naoma Finn, Open to Doubt, so you guys can all be in on our December event. So okay. So let's talk about the Sally house.
Yeah.
And I'm still working on getting some pictures up here. So hold on. I'm going to put the picture up of Sally. This right here. So this is, she's cute, isn't she? She looks cute, right?
Yeah, she does. She looks like just normal little girl.
Right. However, Sally is, so the house is over in Atchison, Kansas. And hold on, let me take that picture off. The house is over in Atchison, Kansas, and it's actually right along 2nd Street. And our friend Tony Pickman lived there many, many years ago. But it happened to, what happened there is his family is the one that kind of put that house on the map, I would say, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so just all kinds of, when he first moved in there, they realized that they had a ghost, and his wife seen it as a little girl. And at first, that picture that I just showed, that's what Tony saw. And Tony drew that picture. And that's what they all saw. And so, being new parents themselves, they're like, oh, little girl died here. I'll go to the history here in a minute. But, little girl died here, and so Tony's wife, Deb, she bought gifts for this entity. And dolls and all kinds of things. Well, what little did they know that Sally wasn't a little girl. And the history is that a doctor lived in that house, and he performed what happens when your appendix burst? Appendectomy.
Appendectomy. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, on a girl whose name was Sally, and she died. She died there on the table. And so they say that's how, the house got the name and this and that. But she's not there. So I'm working on still putting some pictures up. So just bear with me, and we can talk more about this. Hold on here. I've got them sent to my email. Now I just got to get them on here where you guys can actually see pictures of the house and stuff.
Yeah. So first of all, beginning with gifting her toys and dolls, and no.
I don't believe that's any more different than gifting Sasquatch, Well,
at least you know what that is. I mean, you and I both know when we're dealing with what we believe to be or perceive to be a child may not be. It's few and far between that it actually is a child. So with us knowing that, it would be an absolute no for me.
Yeah. Yep. I'm getting these pictures up, and I can tell you some of the things that happened in that house to them, and the things that Tony had witnessed that, you just can't believe it. And there's actually a book. They wrote a book on it.
Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. Paid advertisement for my book. Buy it.
Thanks, Rob.
I love it.
That's hilarious.
And yes, I do believe too that children are crossed over.
Yep.
Right at that moment. Right at the moment that their spirit leaves, they're gone. I mean, it's not to say that every once in a while it happens.
Right.
They're missing a parent or something, and they don't want to go. They're trying to get back to somebody or something. Mm-hmm. But most generally, I believe that they are all crossed over.
Yes.
I believe because of their innocence, they're not left here on purpose.
Mm-hmm. That's a true story. That is a true story. So this house, I'm going to bring this up now. Hold on. The last one is loading. Okay. So this is actually the house. This is Sally house. And this, it just looks like, middle suburban America. Wouldn't you say so?
I would say that that's just a normal small town looking home.
Right. It's exactly what it is. So they rented the house, and this was, let me think, how old is Austin? So this was probably 27, 28 years ago when this all happened. So they rented this house, and they moved their family into it. They had one small son at the time. And up in the nursery, it started that Tony, they were downstairs, and they started hearing a music box upstairs. And Tony's sister-in-law and Deb were there, and the women went upstairs to look, and like all of the stuffed animals and stuff had been rearranged in the nursery. So this is when they seen, the little girl, the picture that I had just shown. And I actually put up a picture. I got a picture here of the nursery of that was the old nursery. And So you can see where the things are sitting around on the floor. People do that today to get things to move, like what happened to Tony and Deb. So so that's how it started. Started out nothing major. It's just like a small little haunting. It wasn't nothing negative. It wasn't, none of that stuff. And then Tony had worked overnight, and he came home, and he's seen a hag. Did he ever tell you about that story, Brandi?
Yes.
Okay. So he's seen the hag. However, his wife was still seeing the little girl known as Sally. And so, like I said, she kept feeding it. She kept feeding it with gifts, and she would leave a chalkboard, and she would write, "What is your name?" And then they would come back, and there was something there was a reply, of different things, of questions she would ask, written back on the chalkboard. So one story, and this is every bit of this is in the book. And like I said, Brandi and I know Tony Pickman personally. He's my brother from another mother, and I have no doubts about what happened to them in that house. However, some of the stuff that I'm going to tell you is pretty mind-blowing. And the first thing is, so as I said, Tony came in one morning from work. He worked overnights, and he went to bed. And his wife was in one of the other bedrooms. And he fell asleep. He woke up, and this hag was over his face. And this is daylight, guys. Keep in mind, don't have to be nighttime to have any type of activity. And
exactly.
This hag was over his face. She attacked him. The hag did. Literally threw him around. Their dressers were being overturned. A nightstand was overturned. And he's yelling for help from his wife. However, in the same house, one room over, his wife heard nothing. Absolutely nothing. It was quiet, like he was sleeping, which is odd. So finally, when his attack was over, he ran out, "Why didn't you come and help me?" She had no idea. But then when she walked in the room was in shambles, like all jacked up. So that was one of the first real negative things that happened in that house. Another thing is that, so they're animal lovers. They have dogs, cats, ferrets. And at the time they had a dog, and then they had a couple cats. And now, as I said, Brandi and I are friends with these people, so 100% true, but they're not like that. Tony was literally possessed, and he took one of their cats and put it in the dryer, and he said he could remember sitting there listening to it clunk, but it wasn't him. He was possessed. It was this entity known as Sally making him do this. And he said he can remember hearing the clanking. So pretty creepy, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, because if you ever met him in person,
I actually have a
know
picture
that there would be no way. There'd be no way he could do something like that.
So this picture here is Brandi, and then Mark is the one on the left, and then Aaron, and then myself, and Tony is the guy on top. So if any of you guys watch paranormal shows, you probably will recognize him. He's been on a bunch of them. But yeah, he's not that away. He's watched my kids for me. He's pet sit for me. It's just that house, that entity made him do these things. And so they lived in the house for almost 2 years. And again, he was going through torture. And while they lived in the house, the TV show Sightings, I don't know if any of you guys remember that. They came and they did a whole 3-part series with Tony and Deb. And they actually filmed where they watched scratches appear in Tony on camera. And so he couldn't even go to the bathroom by himself. He had a producer following him at all times, just to make sure he wasn't doing this to himself. And the psychic medium. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of him, but Peter James, he was a well-known psychic back in the day, late 80s, early 90s. Peter James came to the house, and he said there is nothing there that is peaceful. It is definitely negative, and it is a true demonic entity. And so fast forward a little bit, they had sightings come, and at first they went incognito, where their faces were blurred and they had different names. But then after that, Tony was like, well, F this, people might as well just know who I am. So then I think on the last episodes of sightings, they actually showed his face. But so what got them to move out of the house was he got home from work one day, and he was sitting on his couch, and he was sitting there with a knife, and he was waiting on his wife to come home. Had she come in, walked through that door, and he says that to this day, he would have murdered her, literally murdered her. And he said that something just snapped in his head to get out of the house. He walked out of the house, and I think he went to his parents' house, but to get away from it. And he said then he was back in his right mind. But he said he remembers sitting there waiting for her to come home. He was literally going to kill her. That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you wouldn't, you just wouldn't think that to talk with him, to spend time with him. You're just like, there's no way. There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
But, this thing made national news. I mean, he was on talk shows and news and I mean, this story exploded. It was everywhere. I mean, you can even look it up on YouTube, the Sally House, and you'll still see the old interviews and everything when they had him on TV shows and things like that when he was talking about it. And it is just unbelievable that something can affect you like that.
Mm-hmm. Affect the household two different ways is what's crazy, because Deb seen it one way. He saw it as another way. She still didn't believe that it was something negative. That's what blows my mind away,
Yeah, and all the time as she's feeding it energy, she's feeding it everything. And this thing is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger because she allowed it to feed off of her.
Yeah.
Which you're sitting there going,
yeah. And another thing that's
how does that happen?
Yep. Another thing that's interesting, she had went outside and cut roses and put on the table in a vase. And within like 5 minutes, I believe it was on sightings, they watched those roses wilt right in front of their faces.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's scary stuff.
Yep. It is. Go ahead.
I was going to say what's really messed up is, so now today it's a tourist trap, and the city of Atchison, it's privately owned by an individual. It was the same owner that had it back then, has it now, but the city of Atchison runs the Sally House, does all their ghost hunts and all that stuff. You have to book through the city. So they advertise it as a little girl. Come and see Sally, stay overnight and visit with Sally. That is BS. I feel like they are setting so many people up for so many things to go wrong. I mean, people have investigated in that house. They go home and somebody close to them might die. They might get in a car accident on their way home. They go home and their wife might have left them. I mean, the house is awful. And, all these people go there and just thinking it's just this little girl, that haunts this house. And that is not the case at all. It's scary.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I personally, if I moved out of the house, I'd have to move out of the town. I'd probably move out of the state. I would that whole damn
town is haunted. That whole town is haunted. Let me tell you.
It is.
So there was a house that was in town there that was for sale. And actually, Tony and us were real good friends. And we went to look at it because we thought, well, maybe we go in together and then just rent it out. It's like an extra property. So we went into it, and we were upstairs, and I had my girls with me, and we went upstairs, and the lights started blinking, and I'm looking at Tony, and he's looking at me, and he come and told me, he said, get the kids out of this house. So, and that was just actually a block over from the Sally house. The Sally house is on 2nd Street there in Atchison, but it was just a block over. So I have been to several investigations in that town, right there in town, of haunted houses. It's crazy. Yeah, it's scary stuff.
Yeah, and the first thing that Tony tells us is don't even go over there.
Right. Nope. He told me many years ago, he said, don't even drive by that house. Don't do it, because it knows it will feed on you. And there was a high school girl who just peeked in the window, you know how kids do, just goofing off, haunted house. And all she did was peek in the window, and she literally got possessed. And that is a true story from just peeking in the window. So it's crazy. Like my kids, they went to school there in Atchison, and it's a talk of the town. Everybody knows about the Sally house. And I think Ava was in 3rd grade over there, and some kids at school were talking about it, and Ava said, no, it's a demon. My Uncle Tony told me it's a demon in that house. Don't go there. And she ended up getting into an argument with these kids over whether it's a demon or a little girl. But yeah, it's a true story. We don't drive by there.
A hag is a hag. A hag is a hag. That's all I got to say. It's just it's something you just don't want to deal with. It's their
And little Patty's right. I've always heard that living plants die quickly around demonic entities. I mean, they actually got it on the sightings episode. That's if you guys are interested at all, go watch the sightings with the Sally house and Tony Pickman, because it's really interesting, and you can see where the scratches just appear on him, and all that good stuff. So all that bad stuff, I guess I should say.
Yeah. And I think Old Spirit, it was up in the chat a little bit, said that attachments are preventable. You're darn tootin'. They are preventable. But if you've heard me talk about my own issue, it's my fault that it happened. But I wasn't in a haunted location. I wasn't doing anything that you would think that you would get an attachment. I was driving down the road.
Yeah. Glenn Jamison said it's the Heartland ghost. Yep, that is.
Yeah, that's the one.
Ghost.
But I mean, so preventable, yes, they are. But that particular morning, I had my mind on other things. I didn't do my morning ritual. Just, I was just getting up and going to work.
So Penny Van, I can address this right here. Says, I don't know him, but I saw a show on them and the house, and they got busted faking scratches. I personally have witnessed scratches happen, and so is Brandi, just appear on Tony. I'm telling you, he is not faking nothing. Absolutely nothing. I've witnessed this myself. Brandi has witnessed
There's no possible way.
No, we watch it. It's like invisible razor blades appear, just appear on him, and blood starts oozing. It's the weirdest, craziest thing, but he never had that happen until he moved into the Sally house. And now it's a common occurrence with him.
Yeah. And we know quite a few other people that have watched it happen. And they all say the same thing, that there is no way that he could have done that himself.
No, I'm telling you, I've witnessed it myself. I have watched blood start seeping through his shirt, and we've been sitting there for an hour. How does that happen? He lifts his shirt up and he's full of scratches. That's a true story. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, I can see that a lot. I mean, we always have the skeptics out there that are going to say it was, many things are fake. Anything in the paranormal world, anything in the cryptid world, there's people out there that no matter what you do, they're going to say it's a fake.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And, you just have those people. They do not believe in the supernatural. Yeah. And, I know for a fact, and a lot of people know for a fact, that it's real. It happens. We've seen it. You can talk about the well-documented case. I mean, The Exorcist. Let's just go there with it. the Exorcist case was well documented.
Yeah.
And these things were actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to read the story. What is that? The Exorcism of Roland Doe, or is that the real story? That's the real story. You got to read the real story, because the movie went far beyond what really happened. I mean, it doesn't make it any less, but it just makes it really far-fetched. But it's like, wow, and then with my research and then looking into stuff, this is not an occurrence that happens a lot, but it does happen to a lot of people. I mean, more than you would think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's scary stuff. And I believe, so before they lived there, supposedly there was people that had lived in the house that did rituals in the basement.
See,
so it's not
I don't,
that they invited it in, it was
somebody
there.
else did.
Right.
Yeah. Somebody else did. And that's the funny thing about a lot, like you even talk about portals and things like that. You don't have to open them. Somebody may have already done it for you.
Yep.
It's like, and you don't have to ask, because we all know that for any demonic entity to come into you or anything like that, you have to open yourself up to that. You have to invite them in. Right. Not necessarily the case. It's easier than you think, because if people are already doing these strange things in your home, they've already done the work. They've already laid it out for you. You just walk into it not knowing. So,
and you're an unknowing victim is what you are. You're walking into something.
Yeah. So going back to attachments and things like that are preventable. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's why I ever tell anybody, if you move and you go into a new house, make sure it's cleansed, it's blessed, it's all these things before you even move your stuff in. That's the best way, because you don't know what people have done, especially in a house that's been, built for some time, an older house. You don't know. And especially, I want to say, in smaller towns, it's crazy. I mean, you expect all this stuff to happen in big cities. Well, it does, but these small towns are crazy.
Sure is. Yep.
It's
Miss
just,
Naomi says sadly, a lot of people open those portals and have no idea how to close them, or even know that they have to close them. True story. True story.
Yes.
Yeah. So, unfortunately that house, is a no-go. And, if there's any ghost hunters out there in the chat and you like doing events and going to different places, that is one that I would not recommend going to. Just stay away from it.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
And little Patty says something here. Says, I also always heard a mirror on the outside wall is a portal for the paranormal. Any mirror can actually be an opening.
Yeah. Especially if you use it to scry, you're opening it. It's very easy to do. Way easier than you would think.
Mm-hmm. And Maggie M10 says, or if you get a really uneasy feeling when viewing, trust your gut and buy somewhere else. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, I've walked into a bunch of houses, when I was looking to buy my own, and I just walk into it and go, I just don't like the way it feels. It just didn't feel like it fit, like it was good, or, and then, there's other houses that I walked into that were fine. They were okay. It's just every once in a while but I think it was Paranormal Pixie. I'm not quite sure, that says you have to make sure you cleanse regularly and all that kind of good stuff. Yes, you do.
Yep.
Yes, you
Unfortunately,
do. Especially if you're in.
You're not gonna.
There was no cleansing. That was an exorcism. That had to go. But especially when you do what Krista and I do, you do have to cleanse all the time, because you do bring things, with you, and they need to go. Even though we do surround ourselves with love and light, and and all the good stuff and all that, there's still just like I was going to work. that itty bitty I forgot moment. It's like my guard was down. I wasn't paying attention. I was preoccupied. I think I may have been running a few minutes late to work that day. Yeah. I mean, all those things play a role in what happens.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah, it's really scary stuff, man. People just, like Naoma said, they do something, they open up these doors that they can't close or don't know that they're supposed to close. And I've done private cases with people. A lot of you guys have heard. Brandi and I, our views on the Ouija board. It's not the Ouija board. It's uneducated people. The Ouija board is a tool. It's uneducated people, or they get in the wrong hands, or they get in kids' hands. They don't know they have to close them. They don't know the proper way to do them. And that's with any paranormal tool, I believe, because it is, it's no different than having a K2 meter, in my opinion, because you're still doing communication, with them.
Yes.
However, Ouija board, a lot of times there's stuff that, you're opening up and things can come in and get attached through that, I've never heard of a K2 meter having an attachment or a REM pod.
No. And even on a spirit box, you'll hear me on a spirit box and I'll ask the questions and I'll open that door, but you'll hear me. And at the very end, I'm like, okay, I'm shutting this off. And then I'll say goodbye and shut it off.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just kind of like, this is it. I don't want to talk to you no more. It's fine.
Right. Naoma says in some states they are required to state in the paperwork if a house is haunted. In other states, they are required to disclose if asked. But in some states have no requirement. Missouri, you do not have to disclose whether someone died in the house or if it's haunted. You're on your own. Totally on your own.
Yeah. That's why you should do your research before buying a home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a true story. True story. So it just, there's a lot that, my daughter, when she bought her house, and this has been like, she's lived there like 4 years now, but before, there was a house she was looking at and she got really bad vibes on it. And she did look into it. And actually the neighbor shot the homeowner right before like the house went up on the market, shot him outside, but she had that just that vibe, and she did not buy the house. So yeah.
No.
And Vixen
somebody said something about the world's largest, the Ouija board. What was that in Massachusetts? No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I have not saw that either. I haven't either. Huh.
Mm-mm.
Vixen Doe says, I'm putting
I need to find that
in all corners of my new bedroom. There you go. Or another thing that is good is iron. I always tell people, like, if, get some horseshoe nails or a horseshoe or even like a cast iron skillet, put it under your bed, because that also repels negative energy.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to be a big iron item. It could be as small as a nail. That's all you need.
Yep. And here's where you're talking about the massive Ouija board. Maggie M10 says, Massachusetts, Krista and Brandi, any opinion on a giant size? Wow. I'm going to have to Google it and look it up, because I don't know about it.
I don't either.
I don't think it would be very safe. Yeah.
I was in Massachusetts last year. And I didn't hear anything about it then, but that I wasn't looking for it either. So maybe I need to look that up to see it. Now, if they want to do these things, that's fine. That's fine, because really nobody's going to use it. I mean, it's probably just too large to be usable, but the fact that it is still made is kind of unnerving.
It is. It truly is. Absolutely it is. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. There's some weird stuff that goes on out there, in my opinion.
Right.
And the giant size Ouija board, who would have,
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because people look at me weird. I do have a little one. And I carry it with me everywhere. But do I use it? No.
Right.
The intent is not there to use it. So it will not do anything. It will not open any doors. It won't do anything, because there is no intent on doing it. It is just to look at it and to look at it only.
Right. And another thing with the Ouija board, like you were talking about intent, it's also people's energy. So if you're going out there and you're looking to, see something really, really bad, or, or even ask, when am I going to die, or things like that. Those are
Yeah.
questions you just don't ask. And so like people's negativity can get, attached to that board too, which can bring in the bad stuff. So you do get, like I said, I don't think it's the board. I believe that's just a tool. However, if it's not used properly, it can become quite a problem. And I've seen it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, you should never ask it any type of personal questions at all. Because you don't know if you're really talking to who you think you're talking to. It could be somebody filling you with lies. And, I mean, say if somebody on the board says, hey, you're going to die in 2025. Do you know what your life is going to be like from now to 2025?
Right. You'll be freaking out.
Yeah. No. That, I don't want to know anything. I don't even want to know from a psychic. I don't want to know none of that.
And you know what?
I just want to live until God says, hey, it's time to go.
Yep. The true story. That's between you and God. It's nobody else's business. But kids are stupid. And I know, and it's we have a show coming on in December about my Ouija board experiences. So I'll talk more about it then. But I was young and stupid, and I did ask questions like that, and we'll talk about it more on that show. But yeah, people do.
Yeah, and I got a little itty bit of story. I mean, we got plenty on that.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just a tool, and I still
everything is a tool. Yes.
Yep. I still wouldn't use them. Now I have an old teammate who collects Ouija boards, and he has them in. You know who I'm talking about, Brandi. He collects them, and he has them in totes under his bed. Well, apparently, one night or several nights, his bed lifted. I wonder why. But he collects.
I know. It's kind of like, well, how dumb can you be?
Yeah, exactly. And he has a lot of health issues too. So, and I'm not saying that attributes to it, but it just might.
Yeah. Well, it's not helping. It's not. Who puts them in a tote? I mean, really, who puts them in a tote? Puts them under your bed? No, absolutely not. I mean. I don't even, I get the creeps when, about a closet. Don't even put them in the closet. I'll put them outside somewhere in the garage, or, not in my house. I just, no way.
Nope. And he's got a bunch of them too. I mean, he buys them up all over the place.
Yeah. And I can understand, if you like to collect them, because I think they're really cool. And some of the older ones are just, the artwork is fantastic on them. And, but keep them in under my bed. No.
Yeah.
No. I'd have to put them somewhere. If I put them in the house, then the room would have to be salted, and the holy water would be spread, and, all of that stuff. We would close everything down in a hurry just to have them in the house, but I would not put them under my bed ever.
No, absolutely not.
There's just never.
So much that can open up, and people just don't get it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Don't get it.
But like you said, I mean, but opening up the conversation, it could be done through anything. Just asking them who they are, what do they want. You're already opening it up. You're opening that door. You don't need anything to help you. You just start asking the questions and expecting answers. That's opening a door. So, make sure you shut that down too. Say, well, thank you very much. I'm done talking. Thank you. Goodbye.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing too. When we do hold events, I always tell like a group I'm with, they'll be like, what's your name? Oh, my name is Krista. No, you don't say that. Or they'll say, can you touch me? Or can you do this? Can you do that? That's getting personal. You never, ever want to get personal with any entity. You don't know what they are. You don't know. It could be something negative. And guess what? If it's a little Sally portraying itself, a demonic entity portraying itself as somebody like a Sally, Well, guess what? You just opened up the door because you're asking it to touch you. You're communicating, you're inviting that entity in. So you really got to watch your questions, when you do these things, and never, ever, ever ask it to get personal. Don't ever get personal. And one of my biggest pet peeves is like when people say, "Oh, can you tell me, say a name of somebody in this room?" No, I don't think so. You don't do that. That is getting personal. And then now you just opened it up to everybody in the room.
Well, my feelings on that are just a hair bit different. Only because I feel that if there is a spirit in that location that you're in, they'll already know your name. They'll already hear you talking to each other.
How many people say that? How many events have we done and people say that?
Oh, I know tons. Yeah. But, these spirits are already listening as soon as you walk in the door. They're already going to know because you're talking back and forth. I'd be like, "Hey, Krista, can you hand me that flashlight?"
Right.
They know her name already. So you're just, you're opening. You don't have to really get personal.
Yeah.
There's no need for it because they already know.
Right. Maggie M10 says, "May I ask, Blondes and Booze Paranormal, please, Brandi and Krista, when you're in the woods or cemeteries, do you record when you're asking questions, and what device do you use? If so, thanks." Yes, absolutely we do. Brandi always runs a recorder. Yes. And because you just never know.
I use an Olympus. I tried using the Zoom, which it's a 360. Unfortunately, I like to live listen. So when I'm using the 360, I can't tell what direction the sound is coming from. When you're using an Olympus, which I think it's I think it's an 83 or 583, one of those two. But when I'm using that, it's at a 180. So you're hearing from your left side, your right side, into the front, and that's it. Like I said, I get into those Zoom ones where you're listening to 360 that I get all confused, and I don't like that. I like to have more control on what I'm hearing. That works best for me, but you know what? Hey, Zoom might work for you. So take your pick. Anything's good. It's just what you prefer.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Chris. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris is our new friend. We met him over the weekend. He was at the event we were at.
Yes.
We appreciate that. And there's another question here. Larry asks, how can you communicate with them? Oh gosh, all different ways. I mean, you can use equipment, everything from a K2 and just get yes and no questions. Yeah, a REM pod, same thing, yes, no questions. A lot of people use the ghost box, where they're asking direct questions and expecting direct answers. There's all different kinds of ways that you can communicate with them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I myself, I can hear them out loud, a lot. So it's very easy for me. That's why I'm a listener. That's why I'm the audio person, because I hear them directly out loud. Yeah. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of times where I hear them and the person standing right next to me will not. They can't hear them. But when I play it back, there it is. There it is. But there's other times that you can hear it with your ears without earphones or anything like that. You can hear it with your ears, but your recorder will not catch it.
That's true.
That's the funny thing about the paranormal. So I guess that's just something that we deal with. And I guess in the paranormal world, it's like you never know. I mean, there's times where we've had conversations thinking nothing's happening in the room until we review the audio.
Yeah.
And you can hear things moving, footsteps, all kinds of stuff happening that you didn't hear. So,
Brandi, you want to answer this because you asked some funny questions on it. Larry asked what kinds of questions. I'm going to tell you, like when we do investigations, we don't ask your run of the mill, what year is this? How did you die? We don't ask that kind of stuff.
What is your name? No.
Why don't you tell them what kinds of questions that you ask?
Okay. So yeah, here I am. I like them if they like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I'll, if I believe it's a female, we'll start talking about, well, do you like high heels or do you like flats? Do you like jewelry? Do you prefer diamonds or rubies? Or, I ask the off the wall questions as if I were talking to another person. Not, I don't want the ghostly answers of who is this and when did you die? You kind of get a grasp on all that by asking other types of questions, speaking to them as if they were still living and on this earth.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like she said, it's not your typical answers, but I'll tell you what, we get answers more for asking questions that way than we do. What is your name? When did you die? What year is it? What was your mama's name? All of those kind of questions. We don't do that.
No, I get more answers with, do you like peanut butter and jelly or do you like ice cream? And what's your favorite ice cream? I'll get a direct answer. One time I got Rocky Road. That is a direct answer.
Yeah.
Direct answer to that question.
Yep.
So, it validates what you're doing.
Right. Chris Nichols asked, any name brand recommendations on a good spirit box?
I would go with the SB11 or the SB7. The SB7 is a little cheaper. It will do the same thing. The SB11 is better if you're going to use the Estes method or something like that, because it has dual channels and you can run it forwards and backwards. But the SB7 for just normal spirit box talk or chat, that would be the one I'd go with.
Also, our friend Katie Stafford, you want to talk about your nanocam and stuff?
Yes. Now, what I do use most of the time is I do use a nanocam. Or nanocom, should I say? Nanocom. Nanocom. Anyway, it's made by KD Stafford. Now, he was on Ghost of Morgan City. He was on what's the latest?
Ghost Brothers.
Right.
He's done some stuff with Jack Osborne. He's done a bunch of stuff.
Right. And he does make stuff that is really cool, and it works for me a lot too. Yeah. You can order it from him. They do have a website. It's called Paranormal Inc.
No,
INC.
No, it's Supernatural.
Or did they change that?
No, it's Supernatural Inc. It's been always
Supernatural Inc.
Not Paranormal.
Okay.
It's always been Supernatural Inc.
Thank God you're here to correct me. Okay, Supernatural Inc. And they have all these things that available, and he does make them at his home, so they are all handmade right from him. You can go that way. I don't know the prices on them anymore, because the ones that I have held up pretty good, so I haven't had to buy one in a couple years, so I don't know. You could always price them out, but the easiest one is the SB7 or the SB11. You can get them on Amazon too. So, but if you're looking for something a little more intricate, I recommend Supernatural Inc.
Yep. And Paranormal Pixie asked, he worked with Sarah Lamos, didn't he? Yes, they were on.
Yes.
Well, they were on that travel channel, Ghost of Morgan City, together, and they've done several other things. I actually,
what's that one he was on with? What's that one he was on with Dave Schrader? That newer one.
I don't know. With Cindy Cosmo or something.
Yeah, it's something Ghost of Devil's Perch, or
that's it. No, or maybe that was Sarah. I don't know, but one of them. Yeah, I think it is Ghost of Devil's Perch.
I think it is too. Yeah, there's just so many shows, and but yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I watched the whole series. You'd think I'd remember the name.
Yeah. Actually, last year I investigated McIntyre Villa with KD Stafford and Sarah Lamos. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Yeah.
And then Letitia, she says that spirit box saying my name, that freaked me out. So Letitia, we were all at the LBL, and we're just doing ghost stuff. And true story. Brandi turned on her nanocom, and sure enough, it said Letitia's name. And that's not a name that that is common, that, but it sure did. It said her name.
Right. Right. It did, and that's what we're looking for. Like, my name too is not a name that you would normally hear come across a radio station very often. So when my name pops up, you kind of have to pay attention. But when it said Letitia's name, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
That's not a name that's going to come across there. Not a name. So it was very important too that we were not hearing radio stations like you would hear, like in a metropolitan area. You'll hear the radio stations as it's sweeping, depending on how fast or slow you have it going. But
Yeah.
we were out in the middle of the woods. We had no reception, barely any cell phone service. So when this is just sweeping through just white noise and you hear that name, Letitia, you're like, all right, you got
Right.
something there.
Yeah. Janet Martin says you can sometimes hear voices through the YouTube investigations. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And then Freaky Geek, it's actually Supernatural Inc. INK, not INC. Just like
it was INC, and then they got the copyright and went to INK.
Yeah.
So you might find both. You can find them on Facebook, and you may find both still out there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, actually, I might have their link because they did a show. Actually, one of our very first Blondes and Boo shows. Katie and his wife's name is KT. So Katie, but they did a show with us.
So when they're together, we call her Catherine.
I don't. I call her girl version. He's guy version.
Oh, I call her Catherine. So they're not like going, what?
Girl version, guy version. I've done it in front of them. They know. Maggie 10, she asks, do you think the collective energies of a group of people investigating have an effect on how much activity is witnessed? Absolutely. I will tell you this. I just actually had a conversation with our friend Kathy, who runs the Ray County Museum, on this. And she would, seriously, like in the last day or so, we were just talking about this, that people who are more open to it seem to have more experiences. Would you agree, Brandi?
I do. If you're open to it, and what I'm finding out, the crossover. If you're more willing to see things in the paranormal and you experience things in the paranormal, I believe it passes over into the cryptid world. Only because it opens your eyes, it opens your mind to believing things. I think that sometimes we close ourselves off so much that when we actually do see something, that we just dismiss it because we don't want to think about it. We don't want to see it. So we just don't. So I do believe that they cross over. Like if you possibly see a Bigfoot or a dogman or something like that, and then that will open you up in the paranormal world for seeing something else, because now your whole mindset has changed. That's just a personal opinion, but that's what I believe.
Yeah. She says, I can imagine spirits clamoring to chat with Brandi. Yep. And look, our friend Sharon is in the chat. She also she goes to the museum a lot, and every time I'm there, actually she's there a lot more than I am, because she does help Kathy with a lot of the overnight ghost hunts and stuff. So anyway, fun stuff.
Yeah, but that's just my personal opinion. I've seen too much now that there's no going back for me. I'm lost. There's no going back.
Not at all. Not at all. So anyway, we are actually almost at the 2-hour mark.
Yes.
I hope we didn't bore you guys too much, man.
I know. And it was just fun to sit and talk to them. And I know that we had a great guest coming on tonight, but bless her heart, it's just like everybody's getting sick. I mean, I even heard on the I even heard on the news, Krista, after we even talked this afternoon, I heard that the flu is on the rise too.
Yep.
I'm like, wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, the stuff that's going around again. And I just saw, Brandi and I are in the state of Missouri, and I saw something today that the C word it's like one of the top 10 states that it's the heaviest. And I see Nana Boss in chat, and I know she's been sick too. So, I hope and pray that, everybody
get well.
Everybody get well. That's right. That's right. So once again, Seth Breedlove, we have rescheduled him for October 12th. And once Heather starts feeling better, we will
we'll get her in. Yeah.
Yeah. So just stay tuned, guys. You know, we appreciate everybody. And like I said, I hope we didn't bore everybody too much tonight. Just with our rambling.
Yeah, but hey, it's just time to chat with everybody, and that's always fun. I enjoy it, to see everybody. It's always good.
Yep. I want to thank BMR, Pancho Zorch. Thank you very much. Maggie M10. Thank you. BMR again. He's so funny. And Chris Nichols. Thank you guys. All of you guys.
Thank you all so very much.
Yes. Appreciate each and every one of them. So anyway, thank you guys. And we will be back next Thursday. Next Thursday night, we have Robbie Raines and Greg Ogles, and they're just a hoot. So it'll be a fun show.
Oh, that's going to be another funny show. Oh, dear Lord. Okay.
Yeah. I can't promise what's going to come up in there because, we all hung out when we were in Texas together, and we all hung out in Gatlinburg, and you get the two of them together, it gets pretty interesting. And actually, you know how we decided to get them two on the show? Brandi and I and Greg and Robbie, we went to dinner, or no, it was just a lunch in Texas. You remember that? And we went to the Olive Garden, and the four of us were sitting there, and they were just cracking Brandi and I up. We're like, hey, you guys need to come on the show and do this, So that's how, So it'll be fun next week. So anyway, Tex Infamous Minds is on tomorrow. So if you guys can catch that. And like I said, we appreciate each and every one of you guys. And you got anything else, Brandi?
Nope, that's it. I'll just catch everybody who watches Texas Front Porch on Monday.
Yep, absolutely.
That's it.
Yep. You guys have a good weekend, a good week, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
See everybody.